So you've sleep trained your child and they were sleeping extremely well, and suddenly out of the blue they are waking up again at night, or they're struggling to go down at bedtime, and it's almost like you feel like you've gotten back to square one, and now you're like frustrated because you've spent money on sleep training, and now what's happening? And I always say this to parents when I close off, that remember that your child is a dynamic entity. They're a dynamic person, and no amount of sleep training is going to take the human out of your little human. And when it comes to humans, there are so many things that can impact the way we are, the way we express ourselves, our routines, our days, how we feel about things. Like, there's so many factors that play a role, and the same is with your child. So you cannot expect that you sleep train your child once and that is going to result in perfect sleep for the rest of their life. That's not true. Your child is still going to have difficult nights, and there are an enormous list of things that can affect it. It could be the sudden knowledge of separation, that separation anxiety that comes in. There could be the sudden fear of darkness or nervousness around darkness. There can be a lot going on in their brain. There are set points throughout those first 3 years of your child's life where there is enormous brain development, and if their brain is in overdrive, they're going to struggle to sleep during those times because their brain is busy. Also, their brain is growing, so what worked for your 8-month-old is not the same schedule that's going to work for your 10-month-old. So you as the parent need to stay on top of that, because if your child starts fighting bedtime, for instance, very often it's a scheduling problem during the day. Or if they were sleeping really well at night and now they're waking up really early, maybe they're getting too much day sleep. So there are a lot of factors that often play a role. Has your child started at a new school? Is that school's day schedule very different from what your child's schedule was before they went to school? Has there been a pivotal death in the family? Because that definitely impacts the child. Is the child sick? Is the child teething? Okay, all of these things can play a small factor in the quality of the child's sleep and whether or not the child goes through a regression or they don't. Now, you get some very easygoing, settled children, and they kind of breeze through anything that life throws at them, and then you get a lot more sensitive children, a lot of A-type personalities that really struggle with anything that can impact them. So it's to understand that sleep training is to kind of set the optimal foundation, and if that foundation is strong, then it's easier to have better quality sleep. And that's not to say that it's going to result in perfect sleep. There are still going to be other factors that will influence your child's sleep besides the fact that they're able to be an independent sleeper. And you have to adjust and you have to adapt in all of those scenarios. One tip I will leave you with, for instance, if you have a 14-month-old and we've taken away the bottles and replace their milk feeds into sippy cups, and now your child is 18 months and they're waking up at night and they're struggling because of separation anxiety. Your child does not need an old prop returned. What your child needs is extra love, care, and attention from the parent. So don't return a bottle that you've already taken away, or return a dummy that you've taken away, because your child doesn't need that. If your child is going through something, then give them your comfort. Okay, don't give them the comfort of something else. Okay, because if your child is waking up and the only thing that will comfort your child is the bottle, then you kind of got to ask yourself, why are they really waking up? Because if all my child needs is a bit of extra comfort, why am I not good enough? I should be the ultimate comfort. And then possibly you've created another sleep association, which might need to be weaned off of. But this is where it helps most sleep consultants, if you've worked with them thoroughly with the first time when you sleep trained your child, they always have options for follow-up support where they can help you tackle any of these small niggly areas or grey areas that might erupt in your child's sleep journey going forward. But it's also to remember that whether your child is sleep trained or isn't sleep trained, most children and moms struggle with sleep in that first 5 years of their child's life. All of us go through it, and both my kids are extremely well sleep trained, and they sleep beautifully as independent sleepers. But my daughter will once every 7 to 10 days randomly wake up in the middle of the night crying. I don't know why. She's not verbal enough to tell me what's upsetting her, but I go in and I comfort her. So I'm not expecting her to be a perfect sleeper, because that's impossible. I hope that this helps.